They're going to get side by side again. Last time it didn't quite work. Can he make it stick this time? He's not fully passed, but he held on as they swing back in. A little bit of car contact between them. That sends him out. Topi's going to pounce on it. He's going to try and take that second place back as it goes through Brooklyn's tires spinning up as Simone is not willing to give way. He's got the inside back and through, more side-to-side contact between he and his rival. Somehow they come out the other side, but it's still not done, DJ. It's down to cops they go.
Oh, it's really close. Here we go. It's Galindo. He tries to make the move on U-Bluth as they send Hideki Koivisto flying.
Koivisto manages not to hit the wall. I think he's going to be okay, but he's not going to be happy about that.
Galindo, he's going for a braking move on Fabian U-Bluth. He's going to send it deep into turn 7. He's going to be on the inside as they head around the corner. He should have the position, but U-Bluth holds out. They're going to go side by side as they go into the S's.
Oh, can he get this done finally? Chucks it in, but he goes a little too deep. Coming back at him. Here comes Jungbluth trying to take this fourth away. Again, this will tie the points lead. If Aitor can get past him, they're going to run together. Little bit of contact, splitting either side of Marco Lay. Who's going to win the battle down to the breaking of the hairpin?
Well, and let's take a look at that. That may have been a mistake there from Jeff Schmeier going for the move. How he kept that out of the side of the number 220 is beyond belief, but amazing car control there from the number 30.
Not close enough to Timo for this lap by. Oh, but look into the first corner. That's for the lead. Kortaniemi on the attack on Partanen, but he's going to be vulnerable as Simone sees the chance. Now that he's slow off the corner, swings around him, and he is through down into Maggots and Beckett's.
And this is where things get extremely complicated. He's going to try and go on the outside, gets pushed out wide into the grass, loses it, and now we're all along for the ride.
Whoa! I know there's a rallycross course here, but this car's not made for that. And he got air, all four wheels off the ground, still kept it out of the barrier and brought it back. That's going to likely cause a little damage to the car regardless, but great heads up by the 16.
He's going to have to go the long way around the left-handed sweeper here. Is he going to be ahead by the time they get into the braking zone? Are we going to see side-by-side for two successive laps going through Moss? Little bit of maybe contact there for Azowski, bumping and banging and bumping as they exit the corner.
Luis Nunez tries to cover it off then. It's going to try and pinch and pinch and pinch as they go towards turn one, but he'll get just about what he needs. Oh, he has a big moment in the middle, and up and under, Jukka Tolonen, experience prevailing.
We go from one test of determination to another. Last time it was how long can you last? This time it's how close do you dare get to the walls? Long Beach will pit our drivers against one of the toughest street tracks in North America as we get ready to watch round 18 of the Porsche Owners Club Series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Zach Johnson, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. If you haven't seen Long Beach before, you're in for a treat. Let's head to our track guide for a closer look. Welcome to Long Beach. Nestled into the south side of Los Angeles and running alongside the Pacific Ocean, this street circuit has made the port area world famous. Both Formula One and IndyCar have called this 2-mile, 11-turn circuit home. Winning here has become a prestige worth boasting about among open-wheel pilots. Indeed, the winners list includes the likes of Lauda, Andretti, Unser, Montoya, Power, and many other legendary names in racing. Much like its European sister over in Monaco, it's short, tight, and punishing. But unlike Monte Carlo, this circuit emerged from a rundown piece of California coast to grow into the glamorous location it is today. Down into turn one at the end of Shoreline Drive is where the majority of overtakes tend to be made. But sneaky passes can also pop up in places like 6 on the way into Pine Avenue, or turn 9 at the end of Seaside Way. There's also 2 distinctive landmarks notorious for causing track blockages. The fountain section, with all its beauty, is a single file affair save for the first lap. And the hairpin has been a staple here, even though it's changed locations a few times. In fact, that last hairpin not only includes the dangers of getting tangled with another car, but the important nature of getting the best exit you can to keep your rival from having a chance to pass you into the first corner. It feels appropriate that California's signature street track is a hop, skip, and a jump away from the beach. But while others might be trying to attack the surf, our drivers today will be attacking the corners instead. Well, DJ, this place has made a name for open wheelers here, but sports cars have actually shown up relatively often.
Yeah, they certainly have. With the yearly inclusion of IMSA coming to the circuit, they certainly are right at home here, but that doesn't mean it's going to be any easier for them to be able to get their way on by. Rest assured that this is going to be a track where qualifying position is going to be of the utmost importance. Really, the only overtaking opportunity you're going to see is going down into turn 1, the Toyota turn. We've also seen some at the end of the back straightaway, coming down Seaside Way into the Firestone turn, but that's really about it. A couple of the danger areas to watch out for, well, as always, the infamous Long Beach hairpin, as well as the fountain section, which can really throw the cars off kilter a little bit and force them right into the outside walls.
Well, before we get to the racing, which I'm sure is going to be frantic out there, let's remind you of our sponsors, which of course includes Porsche. There is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. And Sunset Mortgage. Don't put your money in the bank. Be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. and Octavio Tequila. Celebrate now. For a great tasting tequila, go to octaviotequila.com and purchase today. And finally, Rogers Financial. You retire once, we retire people every day. For all your financial planning needs, contact Rogers Financial today at rogersfinancial.info. Big thanks to them for all helping put this series on air. But this series, who has been going all year long for this season, has seen Tom Layton really run away with things. Now, we have included the drop weeks here since we're getting late into the season to get a better picture of how things sit. And while that does bring Corey Lotvila a little closer here, DJ, look at that. Even with drop weeks, Corey has a massive task to climb.
Yeah, it's really, really a testament here to what we've seen Tom Layton be able to do. I mean, dominance is the word that comes into mind, Joe, but I'm not even sure if that covers it.
Really doesn't. And as we take a look at the race details as well, DJ, it's looking like back to our normal fare after 3 hours last time out.
Yes, indeed. We are headed back to the standard 30-minute sprint race format, so no pit stops for these cars. 18th round of the season. Everybody going to be driving similar machinery in the Porsche 911 GT3R. It is an open setup out here today, but ostensibly, this is a very open community, so expect a lot of setup sharing to go on.
Qualifying is underway, and they've got about 6.5 minutes left on the clock. Now, for those championship points, Layton is still ahead of Lotvila here in the qualifying, but they don't offer points for the pole in this series. So at most, it's going to be important for the race that, as you heard DJ mention, getting track position is extremely important. Rondeau, though, is the one sitting in third to find Travis Brown. He's actually not here today. And Lotvila, as I mentioned, is in second. But poor Michael Johnson, who's fourth in the points, is all the way down in 13th in qualifying and just doing pretty poorly out here.
Yeah, it's been a bad couple of rounds here for Michael Johnson. He just hasn't seemed to really gotten everything up underneath him. And this Long Beach circuit, Joe, it really and truly is a track where you've got to let the car come to you. If you try to overdrive here a little bit too much, not only are you going to be going off into the walls, but you're going to be losing lap times. You can't really do a lot of trail braking around here. It's all pretty much just let the car slide and trust the car as much as possible.
Well, while Osts may not have been here for the last round, he's had a couple good ones, including back at Watkins Glen, getting himself into fourth place, which has definitely shot him up the order points-wise, but he's actually sitting fourth on the track right now, on the timing sheets right now, I should say, here today. So he's looking set to maybe pick up on some of his rivals ahead of him who haven't showed up, even though he's going to pull over and park it there, at least for the moment. He's got enough time he can get back out and set a qualifying lap. This is down into Toyota turn here for Mark Rondeau. And, oh, he sends it in a little too deep, right directly in front of Michael Johnson, who has to avoid around the outside there. And Mark's going to have to park it and get a clean car.
Yeah, indeed he is, and that's a very easy thing to do, to let the car run a little bit too wide there. Ooh, as we see Nick Facciolo taking a big clip of the wall. That really is going to be, I think, the big story here of the race, as just those little sort of nicks out into the wall. It's not going to be massive suspension damage. It's not going to ruin your car, but those are going to start to build up on you over the course of the run.
Yeah, no doubt. These cars, you really don't want them taking too much out there in terms of that damage. You can do a little bit just touching the wall, but definitely don't want the suspension making that contact. Meanwhile, look at that. Look at the intelligence there out of Brian Salehi, just trying to back up the exit of the hairpin to get himself that much more speed down, frankly, the longest straight on the track here, even though it's not straight, down Shoreline Drive.
Yeah, very, very heads-up play there. The only problem the Bayern's going to run into is that's a little bit of lap traffic in front of him in the form of BJ Fulton, and it looks like both of them are going to run afoul of each other, and so that good move there from Brian Salehi going to be taken out very quickly.
Haven't seen much of Bayern lately. He did show up back at Watkins Glen, but the only other race that he's arrived to is the very first one. So glad to see him back in once again. And getting some drivers back out here. 19 is going to be plenty, I can guarantee you that. You don't want too many cars around this tight little circuit, or else it gets a little bit too chaotic, no doubt. Says, ooh, I think that was a brush with the wall. In fact, yeah, he seems to think so as well, as he's going to park it on Seaside Way.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems here in qualifying, Joe, is the fact that when you brush the outside wall, that counts as a 0x or a 1x, and that's going to invalidate your lap. So it's not only going to slow you down a little bit, but it's indeed going to completely take your lap out of contention. And so I think that's what a lot of these drivers are fighting against, that their best laps, you just push a little bit and get a little bit of a rub from that wall, and it's going to set you out.
Tom Layton, 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes left to go. Still 0.3 of a second over Lotfella, who is in pit lane. Rondeau sitting in third has got to make up half a second to catch him. It's looking more and more likely that Tom is going to be your pole sitter. They've already been out there for 28 minutes, so they've probably found most of the best out of the cars. You can see it is relatively late in the day. It's not super late. It's only about 6:30 p.m., but it's been quite cloudy, so it's been getting somewhat dark out here in the sim, and that's cooled things down, but visibility might be a slight bit of a concern, considering the track is not all that lit up. In fact, it isn't lit up at nighttime.
No, it's not, as these are just normal streets that you do walk around, and I've had the pleasure of being able to walk around there. The other thing that we don't talk about a lot around this Long Beach circuit is there's actually a pretty decent amount of elevation change that goes on here on the back half of the circuit that you've got to watch out for, particularly coming down here into the Tecate turn. This is a completely blind corner because of the elevation. It really breaks away from you, and then coming down here onto Pine into Seaside Way, got to crest over that hill, and you've got to be a little bit careful not to let the car get light as you go over that crest.
Tom down the backstretch into Firestone turn. He's looking like he has a shot at maybe improving on his best lap time. Oh, but he takes it a little too close, and it validates the lap. That ends his qualifying. He can't go any quicker.
No, he's going to have to call it a day there as we focus a little bit farther back in the field here right now. Bringing that number 371 through there is Jeffrey Schulem. A little bit of a wide run on the exit of the hairpin, but I think he's going to be able to keep it under control. Let's see if Schulem's going to be able to improve from a P5.
Doesn't look like it. Half a second off his quickest lap, unfortunately. Mark Rondeau's the next one through, and it's going to be close, but no, he is off by a bit there. So not going to be able to go into the front row. Seen a lot of cars with deleted laps. Wonder if they're just on the out laps here before the time runs out. Jad Duncan starts a new one as he sets his personal best, but he stays in 8th place, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to move up the order there at all. Looks like Doug Boccignoni getting out of the way there at Michael Johnson. Oh, and Michael going to miss that corner going through on the Firestone turn, and that is going to be lap done and dusted for him. He's going to be well down the order in 13th.
Oh, wow. This is going to be a rough day, but he's often good survival, so maybe he can pick some up by other people's misfortunes. Bolton goes very wide coming around the hairpin, and yeah, I can see him way far down on his time for this one, so I doubt we'll see that 118-2 tumble. And nope, he was more than half a second off. Jacob Abrams hit the wall there coming out of the corner, so he's done. Jeffrey Schulem is next, and he does look like he might be able to improve. Can he get on the second or first row?
Let's see here. Schulem coming to the line right now. He's going to push that car, take the checkered flag. I don't think that's going to be an improvement.
Lap deleted. Oh, gutting for Schulem with how quick he was. That is going to be it for our qualifying. Everybody's done as the sun finally pokes out a little bit for a brief moment. So let's take you through our starting order. Tom Layton is going to be on the pole yet again. Can he make it yet another victory? I got to count up how many he's now had. Marc Rondeau will be starting, or excuse me, Latvala starts outside of him. Marc Rondeau will start from third. Michael Ost, who looked like maybe he was going to be able to improve, just couldn't do it after all, will start from fourth. Jeffrey Schulam, P5, as Jacob Abrams starts from sixth. Sam Mayorga, P7 for him. Jad Duncan, eighth place, is followed by Michael Bolton in ninth. Brian Leahy returns with a top 10.
In 11th, it's going to be BJ Fulton, followed by the green machine of Doug Boccignoni. Michael W. Johnson, only good enough for 13th. He's going to be one to watch out for here today. Nick Facciolo is going to start to the outside of him. Matt Hollander and Mark Bray will line up in row 8 behind them, with Mehmet Karasay, John Momeyer, and Dan Fendick rounding out your 19-car field.
It's also going to be a rolling start, and one of the few places, usually we talk about standing starts if they're going to be dangerous, DJ. But the rolling start is actually, I think, more dangerous here at Long Beach than the standing start.
Yeah, it's very, very dangerous because you've got to go through that hairpin to be able to get around there. And that's really a one-way street down through there. And so it's a little bit disconcerting to be able to try to get it to run there. And you've got to be very, very careful. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw Layton get on the loud pedal as early as possible, try to back up that field and maybe inconvenience some of his fellow runners. Indeed.
We'll see. Because they do have to wait on the pace car to go here, so he can't take off early on that. So backing it up would be his way to try and put more of them into that hairpin. We'll see if he elects to try and do that to his rivals. I don't think Layton, frankly, needs to play tricks like that. His pace has just been unbelievable out there. So, yeah, keep your eyes on this space. This is going to be an entertaining one at the very least.
Yeah, very, very much so. I think a lot of incident mitigation is going to be the key to getting by here today. If you can just run clean throughout the course of this 30-minute race, that may be your key to getting a good run and maybe being able to find yourself up in the top 5, top 3.
Okay, so as they take off, this is where we watch and see. I see single file, it looks like. Maybe Latvala not wanting to get involved. Will the rest of them behind try to do similar? Not sure if they have an agreement here on the start to try and do that to make it a little bit safer. And it looks like they are going to get lined up out of there, waiting patiently. Now, this will also spread them out a little bit behind, as some are going to have maybe a slight jump because of it. Green flag is out, and it looks like Layton doesn't get the greatest jumps. Latvala could attack from the outside, and indeed, as I predicted, back of the field, there are some drivers with a lot more pace as they had more momentum trying to get packed up behind the leaders. Latvala is ahead into the braking zone, but he's on the outside. We've got a big accident back there. That is going to be Jad Duncan, who becomes an absolute pinball.
Yeah, Jad Duncan there making contact with, I want to say, I think that,
Oh, we got a block track there for a moment here into the hairpin. I think that was Michael Ost that started it. Yeah, Ost gets turned around, and then a bunch of other cars unable to stay out of him. We'll try and get a look at it later. They're still trying to get it collected and turned around. We kind of expected it was going to be a bit messy. The start of this race, even the real world tends to see that.
Yeah, indeed, whether you're talking about IndyCar or IMSA. And now here, what I'm going to be worried about, if I'm a majority of this field right now that got caught up in that incident, is some of the steering damage. They came in at a pretty high rate of clip there, and they may have to come down pit lane to pick up their spare car.
And not getting any safety cars yet, so it doesn't seem like they're trying to bunch them back together. I think they're going to keep it green. That's the only time that you could potentially see this in this series, unless I'm seeing the rules wrong. Apologies if I had mixed that up there, but regardless, no yellow here to bunch them together. And there you see Doug Boccignoni, who is one of those that got a lot of damage out of it, is going to come in and take his spare car. That's about the one saving grace in this, but there's no expected pit stop, so he's going to have to climb his way back through the hard way.
Yeah, and it's going to be very, very tricky to try to get one of those moves actually done around here. As we jump back to the GSRC replay, this really all starts with Jad Duncan there just making contact with that one car to his outside. I believe that may have been Rondeau, and the two of them just kind of pinballing around there into turn one.
Yeah, normally they wreck on the way out of that corner, and it was happening on the way in long before they actually hit the apex. And there you can see some of the problems there into the fountain section. And poor Baccignone getting a lot of thwaps on almost all sides. And poor Ost, who thought maybe he could use this to make up some positions. Wow, really, really blocked there. Some of them, Ost included, taking the toes just to sacrifice their own race so that other people can at least get going.
And I want to give some credit here to Michael W. Johnson, who actually went up and over the fountain to get clear of all of this after he had gotten through his first turn 1 incident. Really heads-up play there from Michael to be able to get through. But there you can see the 73 there really kind of setting all of that together, Ost. And here comes Michael. Watch this. Just up and over the flowers.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the groundskeepers aren't going to be happy about that, but that's a heads-up play from Michael.
He'll toss him a couple bucks, I'm sure, but he'd rather have his race saved. And that put him into 10th. So despite getting caught up in the opening wreck, he has gained 3 positions up to now. So the state of play, Tom Layton leads. No surprises there. Lotville a second. Not much of a change. But Jacob Abrams from 6th to 3rd and Michael Bolton from 9th to 5th. How about Hollander, though? 15th to 10th.
Yeah, that's a great run from Hollander, and that's actually been a battle that I've kind of kept my eye on here because Bolton and he were only running about 0.3 of a second away from each other, but Michael Bolton looking like he's starting to put on the afterburners here and really start to pull away a little bit here from Matt Hollander.
Down into the braking. This is Matt chasing the yellow and black of Michael Bolton. Bolton's another one that's had some good finishes in recent races. Had 4 straight podiums for him, with 3 of them being in 3rd place and a 2nd place in there. Unfortunately had to miss round 15 for Road America, but other than him actually not attending, when he's been on track, he's been spraying the champagne.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's been having a very, very good run, and so he is one to watch out for. Always very quick as we keep our eyes focused here. This is that battle. Dan Fendick leading the way over Mehmet Karasi and Michael W. Johnson. Michael trying to eye up a move down into turn 1.
Goes for the outside defense there from Mehmet. Oh, and actually makes it stick. And Mehmet has to give up the ghost down into the fountain section. Savvy move there from the number 9. Dan Fendick in front of them, though, really stretched away with those two going side by side in the first corner. So he's got some work to do to get 8th.
Yeah, he's really got to try to pull up ahead there, but I will say John Momeyer up 11. If his qualifying pace is much, that could be coming back to him here as well. Michael W. Johnson only up 4, so this is a little bit more of where we would anticipate him being based on that quality pace.
Only car we've lost out of all those opening incidents is Salehi. He decided he didn't feel comfortable continuing, so he retired. Bjorga, Schulem, and Oster in their spare cars and running, but they're all a lap down. The others that stopped in, Baccignone, Rondeau, Duncan, Facciolo, Mayorga, managed to stay on the lead lap. No, strike that. Mayorga just got overtaken by Layton recently, so we are now down to 15 left on the lead lap. Down into the first turn. This is Abrams on Lotvilla, so this is for 2nd place.
Yes, it is. Starting to close that gap a little bit is Jacob Abrams. He's got about a second in change, but that has been coming down. And this is what can happen, Joe. When you start to feel this track, you really get that good sense of rhythm, and you just start to push yourself ahead. It's like you're able to get in tune with it. And when that happens, you can really get some good lap times.
Michael W. Johnson has got great race pace, which we usually anticipate, but considering just how abysmal his qualifying was here, I'm kind of shocked. He passed Dan Fendick, left him in the dust, and look at this, he's already on John Momeyer. He is eating him up and spitting him out.
This is really, really impressive here from the number 9 as he works his way forward. Momeyer breaking down into that turn onto Seaside Way. Let's see if Michael's going to be able to get enough of a toe here to maybe send a big old move down into the Firestone turn. I get the sense he's probably going to have to wait for the next lap, but still, he is on a charge.
Oh, John sends it in deep. He sees his coach coming and is unable to hold him back. So Michael W. Johnson gets another spot. I think he's averaging a car a lap here. This is absolutely incredible. He's up to 7th. Don't think he's going to do it again because Fulton's 8 seconds up the road, but let me see what the laps look like for Michael. 119.4 last time, and that's with a pass. A 20.1 for Fulton. He could still go and catch him.
Yeah, he very well could, and if he's able to get to the back of BJ Fulton here in the next couple of laps with some clean air, he may even be able to catch on to the back of Matt Hollander as well and maybe salvage a top 5 out of this. So day is certainly not done here for Michael W. Johnson.
Meanwhile, Karasay may have given it up a little bit easy, but he's decided it's worth fighting on Fendick, who seems to be struggling as he's caught up to him quite quickly and out of the corner. Can't get the grip. That actually caught Mehmet, I think, a little bit off guard, and he had to check up. Let's see if he tries to set him up for a better exit out of one of these corners.
A little bit hard to get that pass done there. Mehmet going to drive that car a little bit wider, trying to carry momentum. That did lose him a little bit of time there in the number 19. Dan Fendick going to be able to streak away a little bit here. But now Mehmet will get the benefit of the draft going down Seaside Way.
He's about 0.6 of a second behind. It's not that long of a straightaway. Not sure. Whoa, as he has to hold on to it. Great catch by the 19. Hanging the tail out and somehow not spinning nor touching the wall.
That was very, very impressive there. Oh, and impressive once again there from Mehmet not to run into the outside wall on the exit of the hairpin. I thought for sure he was going to make some contact.
Yeah, certainly seemed like he was about to ruin his day a little bit more. He's already dealing with some damage on the nose that you can see. They haven't caught the lap traffic yet, by the way. Leighton's still trying to get up to Facciolo and Duncan, and they're all very spread apart, so he's got quite a good buffer here to at least run some safe laps, because lap traffic is kind of a bit of a danger here.
Yeah, it really and truly is. And at this point, I'm watching this. They're going to definitely catch some lap traffic. We're not even a third of the way done with this race. And already we are going to see Nick Facciolo, I think, being caught probably in the next 3 or 4 laps by your leader, Tom Leighton.
Yeah, he's a second a lap slower than Tom currently. So with him looking at, I think that is, yeah, he's about 13 laps ahead. Yeah, that's plenty of laps for him to chase him down. 13 seconds ahead, not 13 laps ahead of him. So yeah, that's likely to dissipate rather quickly. Back to Bacignone, who is back out on track, and the highest of the drivers that have had to stop into the pits to take a spare car. He sits in 12th.
Yeah, Doug running a really pretty good race here. I've got to say I'm impressed of being able to come back, being able to really recover like that after having such a big shunt. That can really throw off your mental game in racing. And Doug putting down some very, very good laps here, down in the 119s, looking very, very competitive. It's a real shame that he got taken out there in that first incident.
Yeah, he's back where he started at the very least. But as we've seen, attrition is a major factor. From here, keep it safe. There's a little bit of a blink there, unfortunately, briefly. This is Karasay chasing on Fendick. He's gathered the car back up. Ooh, he's got a great run. You can pass into Takate turn. He's going to try it. He sends it in. He takes the apex away, feeds him out. Move Mehmet up to 9th.
Good move there by Mehmet Karasay. That is some heads-up play there for him to just sort of recognize an opportunity to be able to strike on Dan Fendick. Now they're going to close down here a little bit more. Fendick may be thinking about a repass.
He's thinking about it. He's going to have to be brave. He's not that close coming down into the braking for Firestone turn, and indeed, he's not going to actually attempt it. So for now, Karasay holds that P9. This is really going to be the critical one. Coming out of the hairpin turn on the front stretch, a lot of wheel spin there for the 19, but not enough to cause him worry because Fendick didn't look all that strong himself.
No, and I actually think Fendick may have almost run afoul there of a slowdown incident as he drove the car a little bit offline of where you'd normally anticipated, and that nearly caused him a slowdown. So having to give a little bit of time back there to just get the car regathered back under him. The gap right now at about 0.7 of a second. Much better through there for Fendick through the fountain section.
Absolutely. I love the evolution that we're seeing out of the 327, learning and evolving with the track. Yes, they've had practice. Yes, they've had a long qualifying. But this place has a lot to teach you if you pay attention.
Yeah, it really does, and it's one of those things that you just kind of click into it all of a sudden. You know what I mean? It's one of those feelings that really comes out, and so you've got to just keep running laps here until you finally figure it out, and this may be the point here where Fendix has figured it out.
Karase just about clicked the brake bias a little too far there. He understeered way far in Takate turn. Thankfully didn't lose too much. Oh, but he does it again, and this time he gets the wall. There's no room on the outside of that one. Oh, no, and now Fendick is going to catch up and have a damaged car in front of him. It doesn't want to steer. Look at him spin the tires up off the turn. That is a wounded number 19.
Yeah, that is definitely, it's tracking a little bit wrong there. I can see that car crabbing ever so slightly, and there indeed you're going to see Mehmet just getting out of the way, doing the sportsman thing there, and letting Dan Fendick on by.
The meatball flag is out for the 19. He has to come in from here and take repairs, and it does seem like with the left-hand hit, it doesn't want to make right-hand turns very well, which is what the fountain section is. He somehow makes it through and pulls out of the way to let the other cars by. So when we say meatball flag, that is the orange and black flag that lets the driver know his car is unsafe. He must come in and take repairs. He is not allowed to continue.
No, and that is only given when the car is severely damaged there, as we saw it for Mehmet Karase. So that is very, very tough break there for him. I've got to believe that he's just going to be coming down pit lane ASAP to get that taken care of. Meanwhile, your leader at the front of the field, no worries around Tim. He is just running a good lap around here as Tom Layton.
Yeah, Latvala is about 4 seconds behind. He's not really threatening him, but he's also keeping the pace relatively close out there, so making him work for it. And as he comes back onto Shoreline Drive going the reverse way, DJ, why don't you talk us through a lap on board here with the 97, because he certainly has been the class of the field, so maybe we can pick up a few pointers.
He certainly has. Let's jump on board with the 97 here and give you a little bit of a sense of just exactly what this can be. There we go, coming down this back straightaway. This is one of the few times on the lap that you can really get a sense to breathe. Move your car over to the left here, break at about the 300-meter board, bring it down, and let momentum carry you out there through the Firestone turn. Now down through Indy left, a little bit of feather of the throttle here, and you've got to start to apply brake pressure as you're in steering lock to be able to get down there through the hairpin. Excellently handled for Tom Layton. Now you come out on to Seaside Way, this curving front straightaway here. You want to keep it a little bit over to the right, not only because that's the fastest racing line, but avoid some of the bumps that are off to the left there. Then as we come up here, watch out for the pit lane entry. You don't want to cross over that blue line as you sight your braking marker and move your way down into the left-hander. Now coming into the fountain section, hop on the binders there and get onto the throttle earlier than you expect. You can actually carry some good speed through there. Again, a quick braking zone, not really sighting a whole lot. You've just got to kind of feel it and start to brake there as you go up through the Takate turn, working your way back around. Then as they go, bringing it back in, jumping onto the binders here for Takate, down into the left-hander there. When you bring it back over the crest, coming back over here, getting onto the binders again and carrying as much speed as possible, clipping over those curves and bringing you right back onto the back straightaway.
So as he completes that lap, that's how you make about a 1:18.8, 1:18.7 lap that he's been running. Latvala consistently in the 18.8s back there. So running pretty close to the pace of Tom Layton as he comes right up to the exit wall of the final hairpin here down to the start-finish line. And now we've passed the halfway mark of this race, and still only one retirement. And actually, Facciolo hasn't been caught yet either. He's down to only about what looks like 9 seconds left between them.
Yeah, I've got to give some credit here to Nick. He's definitely kept up the pace, and I would not have expected him to necessarily be able to keep this going. Whew, that was a little bit of a scary moment there, though, coming through the right-hander, almost losing the rear end of that 717.
So still fighting it, that is for sure. And that fight for Michael Johnson, remember he had to catch up to Fulton by about 8 seconds. He's got it down to 5 seconds. He's still really cutting away at that 4.23. There you see the purple car of Michael on your screen now. Fulton 19.2, 19.4 those last few laps. Let's see if we can get a lap comparison maybe between the pair of them. That'll give us a nice clear picture. There's a part of the track you can really cut over. And yeah, right there, it looks like Johnson, half a second or more sometimes faster than Fulton.
Okay, so yeah, he is definitely on the charge here, moving his way up through the order. There you can see all of that time. Look at lap 10, 0.8 of a second taken out. And there you could actually see on your shot the visualized gap in between the two.
Had a chance to check in on the stats of Leighton. Out of 17 rounds, he's won at 12 of them so far. Going to make it lucky number 13. We'll see if that actually winds up being the case, as it was Johnson finishing yet another lap. There is your leader, Tom Leighton. Right now, Johnson's last lap in 18.9, losing a little pace there, but not a whole lot. Still 0.7 faster than Fulton last time by. We head on over to Mollmeyer. Dan Fendick, not only has he disposed of I think it was Karasay that he was racing earlier before Mehmet had an incident. It is now John Mollmeyer that he has been able to run down. This is for 8th position. Both of these drivers, by the way, up 10 spots.
Yeah, really, really impressive. And these drivers just doing exactly what we kind of talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, Joe, just able to pick their way through some of the incidents in the first half of this race and just keep themselves pushing ahead. That's exactly the kind of mentality you've got to have here at Long Beach if you want to have a good finish like these two are having.
Okay, so we come down into Tecate turn once again. Last couple laps for Mollmeyer, 21.5, 20.9, 20.7. He's picking up the pace. I think John's feeling the hustle from Dan getting closer. It was a 21.1, a 20.9, and a 20.5 from Fendick. So definitely consistently reeling him in. Now they also have Mark Bray back there, but don't worry about Jeffrey Schulem. He's a lap down from them, so he's not involved. This is mainly a 3-car fight that's starting to develop.
Okay, so this 3-car fight really starting to go here, and when you get into more than one car, that's where things can get a little bit sketchy around here, Joe, is that you start to get fixated up or behind you instead of just getting fixated on the road in front of you, and that's where you can have some real problems start to develop. You make little mental mistakes, and at a place like Long Beach, those mental mistakes mean big incidents.
You know, saw something interesting there out of the final hairpin from Mollmeyer. He quickly moved to the inside. I think he's trying to break the draft of Fendick a little bit, just to not give him that small edge to try and gain on him down the front stretch.
I think you're right about that, and that's a very heads-up play from John Mollmeyer to be able to do that. And look at how much more power he's able to get there out of the right-hander, out of that little twisting section that brings us here into the Tecate turn. A little bit of a blink there from Mollmeyer. Overshot the corner, though, for Fendick. That's going to carry him a little bit wide.
Mollmeyer had his highest finish of the season last time out, and I think that was actually 9th place. So where he sits right now will be his new fastest lap, I think, or best finish, I think, if he can stay here. He's got impetus to try and retain that 327 in the mirrors as they come through, but it might be more than just that red, white, and blue Porsche that's chasing him down, because the red and white of Bray has cut it down to less than 1.5 seconds now on Mollmeyer.
Yeah, he has, and that's good news for Mollmeyer. Mollmeyer wants Fendick to have to look in his rearview mirrors here and not just focused on the attack, a little bit of what we were talking about earlier. So the closer I think Mark Bray gets to the back of Dan Fendick, the easier John Mollmeyer may be able to breathe.
Down through the fountain section there. Everybody nice and smooth. Less than 10 minutes to go. We're into the final third of the race. There's been a lot of blinking there from Mollmeyer, which is going to make life difficult for Fendick, but he's starting to get closer and closer. He's actually going to take a look as well.
Uh,
Definitely didn't think he was close enough to actually make that pass stick, and that cost him some time.
Yeah, it did. Bray's got that gap down to about under 0.7 of a second here as they work their way onto the back straight. So now Bray is going to be in a little bit of the catbird's position. I think if Fendick tries to go for another move like that, that could be his downfall, and he could end up losing 9th place.
He's got to be careful. He's got to be strategic about these passes. Doesn't want to compromise himself and open the door for Mark to be able to step through. Ooh, he's very close, way wide from Mollmeyer, but being wide off that hairpin sometimes is actually the better run.
Yes, it is, and it looks like Mollmeyer's got a little bit of the better run there as they come down onto the main straightaway. Certainly does look like he's able to hold it, and Fendick trying to look to the outside there a little bit, just trying to find some space around Mollmeyer, but Mollmeyer's not giving him a chance.
Not close enough into the first corner. Now Bray is closer to Fendick than he is. Oh, and Fendick goes wide. I'm not sure if he actually touched the wall. He may have saved it, but again, Bray is encroaching upon that rear bumper.
I think he did just brush the wall there, Joe. Not a whole lot of contact, but just enough to register there as a little bit of a problem. So that certainly is going to be a little bit of a detriment now to Fendick. That's not going to be enough damage on the car to really upset it or have anything like that, but he certainly is. It shows weakness here if you are sitting in Mark Bray's seat. Oh, into the tire barrier, and Bray too.
Oh, and with the lap traffic right behind him, Bray, unfortunately, not allowing any space. The lap traffic not allowing any space for him to recover. And now he's having to wait patiently, and he smashes it into the wall. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to stay on the lead lap on this one. Surely he's got to come in and get repairs. And yes, he has a black and orange flag. He takes a tow. He can't even drive it back to pit lane.
You hate to see that, and what was brewing to be such a great battle here earlier on. Absolutely heartbreaking for Mark Bray, but that's what I was talking about. You just push a little bit over the edge, and that's enough to send you around.
Well, for Fendick, who was the first one to hit the wall in this group, you're going to see it ahead of Bray, but we're going to focus on Bray. Or, nope, we're going to watch. Oh, he hit the tires, so he may have gotten away with it. That's a little bit softer. They don't quite catch you like they do in real life. And unfortunately, target fixation meant that Bray just plowed on in and got the worst of it. Fendick is still well behind Mollmeyer. It's 3 seconds between them now. But like I said, I don't see damage on the left-hand side of the 327, just still on the right-hand side from earlier in the race.
Yeah, I think he's going to be there okay with that, but the one thing he's got to worry about is the real winner out of all of this is the green machine. Doug Boccignoni able to move his way forward. He's got that gap down under a second. He's looking to maybe make a move on Dan Fendick before the end of this race.
I can report Facciolo did get lapped, by the way. Chad Duncan's the next one. It's 15 seconds, so I think it should stay as is unless we get more drivers with wrecks like we saw out of Bray. Oh, ooh, thought that Doug was going to spear off into the wall there. Certainly not the traditional line out of that corner.
No, that was a little bit wide there from him. We've also had a big close down. Was there a problem up in front? Matt Hollander under big attack here from BJ Fulton.
Let me look at the lap times. This must have been on this lap. I don't see anything hugely out of the ordinary. Wonder if Hollander... No, he's just run him down. Yeah, this has just been a consistent run from BJ Fulton, still working on recovering from his real-life racing incident earlier in the year and showing some amazing pace. Oh, Boccignoni just got Fendick, by the way. So he is now past another one, moved Doug into 9th, but Hollander starting from 15th, looking to make this P4 if he can dispose. No, he did get Fulton. I looked away for 1 second and he's through. Or wait, no, Bolton was chasing Hollander. I had that reversed. Yeah.
You got me confused on that one, Joe.
I confused myself. You're not alone. So, so we watch Hollander having to play defense, actually, pardon me, and try and retain another veteran. Hollander actually the organizer in this series. Don't want to make him mad, but this is fair racing, and Hollander's been a part of fantastic races in this series before.
Yeah, he certainly has. And let's not keep out of the equation here. If these two get into a right scuffle, Michael Johnson is only about 1.2 seconds behind him. There you can see him in the background in that purple car. This has the real potential to be a three-way fight before the drop of the checkered flag.
Oh man, Fendick might actually be damaged. I think things have gone awry for him. He lost out to Mark Rondeau, and Jad Duncan is quickly approaching him. Something's wrong with the 327.
You hate to have that happen. I wondered if that little bit of a lick could have knocked off the suspension. Looking at the car here, it doesn't look like it's tracking too terribly badly, but he's able to get down through the corner nice and easy there coming through Tecate. But yeah, if you just get just the right knock on any of these GT3s, that's going to be enough to really do some damage for you.
He's gone from consistent 120, late 120s to 121s into the 122s. Yeah, so it's looking a little out of whack there for the 327 car. At least it's driving well enough that he's not, barely holding on, because it doesn't seem like the car is about to smack the wall, that's for sure. Oh, we might have another battle, this time for the podium. Abrams and Bolton are only 2/10 apart.
And this is another one that's just been a rundown here from Michael Bolton, absolutely putting the pressure on here in the last couple of laps, able to gain back about 9/10 of a second over the course of 2 laps.
Bolton, another one on 4 straight podiums in races he's attended. Unfortunately, was not here at the last rounds for the endurance race, and was not able to continue that one. But now that he has shown back up, can he make it 5 straight here? He's going to have to overtake Abrams to do that.
Yes, he is, and Abrams able to get a good run there out of the final hairpin. That's going to keep him at bay for a little while right now, but let's wait and see here. Maybe Bolton. No, Michael W. Johnson with a mistake coming out of the hairpin.
Well, he can't blame us for that one. We didn't show him on screen for that spin. That's a bit of a shame, because, yeah, if there's one guy that you can count on really being able to read that situation, Michael would have been able to pounce if Fulton and Hollander went side by side, but it was not meant to be.
No, it was not, but let's see if it is meant to be here for Michael Bolton. 4/10 of a second separating the two right now, trying to close it down. I believe we're going to be coming to the line here when the white flag will wave.
Yeah, I was kind of watching to see if Leighton was close enough. Yes, you're right. It is white flag, as there goes Tom out of the final hairpin. Wow, he was pretty wide himself and spun the tires up. He doesn't need to worry too hard, as he's got still a healthy gap over Latvala. Meanwhile, Boccignone past Mollmeyer. I think that was done through 1 and then finished into the fountain section.
Yes, it was, and that means even with getting involved in that early incident and having to take the pit stop, Boccignone up 4 on the day.
Amazing recovery, honestly, just incredible from that 59 machine. And Rondeau losing another one. I think Mollmeyer and Rondeau not done yet. Mollmeyer having to defend on yet another car. Holds them off onto the backstretch. They'll get one more lap, because they're not going to be lapped by our leader the way things are going. And Rondeau is scarily close.
Yes, he is. He may have a little bit of a look here going down to the Firestone turn, decides against it, but Mollmeyer runs wide again and gifts the position over.
Man, a lot of mistakes here at the very end of the race, unfortunately. But this man has looked pretty flawless. Tom Leighton in the 97. I said lucky number 13, and it wasn't an irony today. He actually is going to manage to get yet another one to his incredible tally on what is looking more and more likely a romp to the championship crown. Tom Leighton wins here in California at Long Beach.
Absolutely remarkable stuff there. Leighton doing what Leighton does best. This battle between Abrams and Bolton looked like it may flare up there a little bit, but not coming to be. Abrams going to be able to claim on that last podium position. Oh,
broke Michael's podium streak there, but man, Jacob should be proud of that one. Up from 6th to try and finish in the top 3. Hollander is barely going to survive over Fulton. Look at this. He's got some time, but not enough of it, as they're going to wind up 0.06 of a second apart at the line.
Ooh, very close running there. We focus back on Doug Boccignone, trying to hold off Mark Rondeau here. Rondeau trying to give a little bit of a look this way, trying to give a little bit of a look that way, but I think Doug's got this one in the bag.
Yep, certainly seems like it. Poor Fendick, after having a pretty good race earlier on, wound up only 12th here today, as he lost time for just getting into the wall there. He was 7 up from where he started, so that was an improvement, but he could have been so much higher up the order. Is this a battle for position here?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, he beat Rondeau by 0.05 of a second there. So apologies. I was looking back to see what else was happening and completely missed that Mark had a great run out of that final corner. It was tight. He was side by side across the line. That's going to take us to a quick break, though. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to ride around the world. I'm Mick Claridge, and I'm going to ride around the world on my bike. My son, he gave me advice at the start of this ride, and he looked at me and just said, "Dad, don't be a moron."
Let me do my animal signal to gain their respect. How's it going, Sally? Yeah, I'm alright, Mick. How's it going? Worse than that bit in Lord of the Rings where they go into the top and the spiders in the tunnel. I'm just hoping there's a spider at the top of this one to kill me. Freezing.
And I failed. I moroned up the ride.
Welcome back to Long Beach. Round 18 in the Porsche Owners Club Series sees Tom Layton get another victory and extend his lead. We're going to actually probably have to start figuring out at what point does he clinch, because it could be pretty early in the season as it sits. Corey Lottville followed him home, and Corey is the one second in points, so he did damage limitation, but is not really doing much to try and help his chances to the crown by the end of it. He really needs a bit more pace. He kept it within about 3 seconds at the least. Jacob Abrams with an excellent podium up there is going to be chuffed with that one, as Michael Bolton finished 4th. Matt Hollander finished P5, just behind Michael and barely ahead of BJ Fulton, who pushed him all the way to the line to take P6. Michael Johnson recovered after his incident and at least wound up 7th. It wasn't a perfect day, but it's better than it's been going lately for him. Doug Baccioni P8 as Mark Rondeau went from 3rd, sadly down to 9th, and Momeyer up from 18th to 10th.
In 11th, it was Jad Duncan, followed by Dan Fendick, who was up 7 on the day despite having that rough end to the race. Behind him, it was Nick Facciolo, the first driver, a lap down, followed by Sam Mayorga and Jeffrey Shula. Mehmet Karasay, who suffered a little bit of damage there courtesy of that first lap incident. Michael Ost, the last driver, 1 lap down. Then it was Mark Bray in 18th, 2 laps down, and Brian Salehi, a DNF on the day.
And that's going to take us to our victor here today, Tom Layton, with win number 13 to his name. Tom, you finished what seemed like easily ahead of Corey, but you also didn't run away a whole lot and almost looked like maybe you eased up a little bit there at the end. Were you kind of leaving a margin at this track just to try and make sure that you didn't throw it away?
Yeah, I hit the wall too many times during practice. I was leaving a few extra inches there the whole time, but Corey was keeping up legitimately. I mean, he had really good pace. I think if this was a longer race, he probably would have caught up to me. Yeah, I was feeling it toward the end. This was pretty exhausting.
Those first few turns on lap 1 are always a scary bit whenever you're racing at Long Beach, no matter which cars are out there. When Corey got up beside you, was there kind of panic bells going off in your head?
Oh man, I didn't know what was going to happen. He got off to a great start, and luckily I was able to outbrake him there into turn 1. And I don't know what would have happened if he had maybe braked later and we'd gone in side by side. But I'm glad I got ahead of him. I heard that it was clear and I could just go ahead cleanly.
Yeah, that had to have been a monstrous relief. So we go to Mid-Ohio, another lap that's not all that long, so another short one here, but thankfully not a street circuit. How do you usually fare over there?
You know, I haven't raced there too much, but I do really like the track. It's really fun. I'm originally an East Coast guy, so all these like East Coast tracks, these are kind of close to my heart. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Don't tell people from Ohio that it's considered East Coast, because people out here will insist we're Midwest. So just
driving distance.
Yes, yes. Tom, congratulations. Who do you want to thank for today's run?
I just want to thank my wife and thank my sponsor, FR Sport, for all their support.
That is Tom Layton, winner in the number 97 yet again, and he's followed home by Corey Lotfula, who's also had his fair share of second places. DJ has caught up with him.
Indeed, Corey, another second place for you on the day, but I've got to feel like actually being able to come home and finish the race here today has got to be an accomplishment in and of itself.
Oh my gosh, yeah. When Tom and I came in side by side to the first corner, I was like, nope, not worth it. Braking early. I'm like, go for it, dude. I know you're way faster than me, so just take off. So but yeah, my last few races here, I have crashed the car so hard. So I was like, just as light on the wheel as possible going through these corners.
Well, was that kind of your secret? I mean, was it just really and truly all about damage limitation here today?
Oh, at first, for sure. Jacob was reeling me in a couple times, and I really had to push to get away from him. And then it got out to like five seconds, and I was like, screw it, let me see what I can do. And I started trying to put in faster laps, and I'm like, wow, that was a fast lap. And I look at the relative, and Tom still put like a 10th on me. I'm like, what the heck?
Well, that can obviously sometimes be a thing there, but as we head to another circuit next time out, Mid-Ohio, a little bit twisty and turny, but not nearly as many barriers. How do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, I feel like probably every other sim racer out there feels a lot better when there's some grass or some apexes to actually hit than some walls.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, Corey, for today, who makes this happen for you?
Dave at Schmidt Racing. He's the man as always. My friends and family always rooting me on, and you guys are always doing a great job in the POC, and yeah, thanks.
Well, thank you, Corey. That was your second place finisher there, Corey Lotfula. And now, Joe, I believe you've been able to catch up with third place finisher, Jacob Abrams.
I have indeed. Jacob started mercifully just in front of the big wrecks that happened on the first lap. Jacob, did you have any idea of what happened behind you?
Oh, yeah, I didn't have any idea what happened behind me, but Ost and Rondeau got into each other ahead of me going into between turns 1 and turn 2, and I clipped Ost's car and got some damage, I think, to my front left right at the start. But it looked like nobody else made it through alive, so I had a little bit of a gap to work with, which was nice.
And you know what? Honestly, we had missed that, and I'm just seeing the damage now on our replay here. So something that we hadn't reported on. I'm glad we asked you about that. In fact, you talked about the buffer that came down though towards the end. Michael Bolton trying to chase you. Were you aware that he was on 4 straight podiums, or at least in the races he attended before this? And that he probably really wanted that.
I was fighting as hard as I could to keep him off the podium this week. But we were practicing together a lot this week and had a couple of good battles. So it was fun to have another one with him in the race.
Always interesting to see which drivers are aware of those kind of stats in the heat of the moment. But I'm sure, like you said, it gave you a great motivation at the very end. Well, other than that little bit of damage, which, you kind of have to expect, you're going to bang the car up a little bit at a street circuit. It looks like you kept it pretty darn clean. That's a nice accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like once Corey got away from me a little bit, I just decided to back off a little bit and kind of settle for third and take it easy on the tires and on the car and try not to hit any walls. And, I figured if I did that, the race would kind of come to me, and maybe either, one of the 2 leaders would make a mistake or, or something like that. And, I could at least hold third, and that strategy worked out okay.
Great stuff there. Only your 3rd podium of the season. A bit surprising, if I'm honest, but a well-welcomed return to the top 3. Who do you have to thank for that?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys and the POC for putting all this stuff on, and of course, Works2 Motorsport. And thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Jacob Abrams, known for being faster in the GT4 cars, finding his feet here in the GT3s and making good at one of the toughest circuits here on the season. That's going to close us up with a big thank you to the Porsche Owners Club for bringing us back for another season of coverage. And they are brought to you, of course, by Porsche, because there is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. Also, Sunset Mortgage. Don't put your money in the bank, be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. And Octavio Tequila. Celebrate now. For a great tasting tequila, go to OctavioTequila.com and purchase today. And finally, Rogers Financial. You retire once, we retire people every day. For all of your financial planning needs, contact Rogers Financial today at rogersfinancial.info. Thanks to the team, DJ, Zach, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media, website, and merchandise store. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment. Next time, as we mentioned, it'll be Mid-Ohio, Monday, October 3rd at 11 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to check out our other broadcasts listed on screen. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.